Right, boys, you do realise this, didn't you? You heard our fans singing it just now tonight, and it is true. We have got our Chelsea back. I thought that Enzo Maresca was going to bring a bit of magic to Stamford Bridge, but I'd be lying if I can honestly sit here and say I thought it was going to be this good. Second, after 14 games played in this Premier League season. After 14 games last season, we were sat 10th with the top scorers in the Premier League. The so-called flops and the overspends are now coming good. That £200 million pivot looks like we got it on the cheap now, and the so-called one-man team are winning games whether or not that one man in Cole Palmer puts the team on his back, and the media must be absolutely scratching as for what narrative to run with, because they wanted Chelsea to fail again this season. But Chelsea this season are as good as anyone. And when you look at Liverpool dropping points tonight, Arsenal have scraped by against Manchester United, I believe, at the time of recording. We are pushing closer to Liverpool than we even are to Champions League spots now, and I don't see this team getting any worse. I see us getting better. Enzo Maresca has proved me wrong not only tonight but on multiple occasions now, because I looked at that team sheet tonight and I thought he had changed too much. We've gone out and won it 5-1 against Southampton. No one's done that to them, by the way. Man United have beaten them by a 3-goal margin. No one's beaten by a 4-goal margin. Liverpool struggled big time at St Mary's against these lot. Man City beat them 1-0, and we have gone there and absolutely pumped these boys tonight. Honestly, if we beat Spurs on the weekend, I think I might have to say it. And you know what it is. But let's speak about tonight's game first. But before we do that, people, welcome back to the Joey Knight podcast. If you are new around here, please smash the subscribe button. Whether you're new around here or not, smash that like button right now. And I know I keep asking you guys, but make sure you're subscribed. So many of you are doing it, by the way. I'm seeing the numbers tick up. I'm really, really appreciative of that. Make sure you do keep doing it. We've gone from 35% of the regular viewers being unsubscribed down to 30%. That 5% is a big jump, so thank you very much. Now let's look at the team sheet that started off tonight's game, and you can see that team sheet on screen now, and the big call was 𝐕𝐻𝐿. I very much understand that so many of the picks that Enzo Maresca went with tonight would have been picked with that Spurs game in mind, but at the same time, you never really need to rest a goalkeeper. But it's a midweek game. Normally 𝐕𝐻𝐿 start in the midweek games, and tonight he did start, and we will speak about his performance. Malo Gusto, Disasi and Tosin Adarabioyo at the back, with Cucurella at left back. The pivot, the £200+ million pivot in Caicedo and Enzo was placed there, and oh my god, they worked well today. Cole Palmer in the 10, Noni Madueke coming back in on that right wing, João Felix out on the left wing, and the surprise inclusion for me was Christopher Nkunku over Nicholas Jackson. And I can be completely honest, right, and say I looked at that team. I even text in to our group chat in the StakeMate app, where obviously we've got loads of us texting and talking about the Chelsea games and results and the bets we're putting on and whatnot. And I said, I'm not sure. That looks like a lot of changes. But my God, I was wrong. And do you know what? The way the game started, I was a little bit fearful at first. Less than 2 minutes into the game, Aribo has a chance to open the scoring for Southampton. They're looking quite creative to this point, you know. They're looking lively. They're looking to put the pressure, I should say, on us. And 𝐕𝐻𝐿 gets down to stop a hard shot that comes at him, and really, really does well to stop us conceding early on. And we benefit from it straight away. 6 minutes in, we do get that early lead that we were desperate for, and I was saying that we were desperate for in my pre-match preview. Ed's all over the gaff here. In my pre-match preview of the game. Well, it's going to be a fucking preview. It's pre-match, isn't it? Either way, I said that we needed to get some goals early and it would force Southampton out the traps. And actually, in the way they played, we didn't even really need to do that. They done that to themselves. But it's Enzo Fernandez. He whips in the corner and his delivery so much better now, right? And the Southampton goalkeeper is complaining. Joe Lumley, 6'6", I'm guessing he is. He's complaining because 𝐒𝐂𝐑 has completely barged him, apparently. Completely barged him. And that's the only reason why he didn't get to that ball. And Disasi gets to it and heads it home. 𝐒𝐂𝐑 ran in front of you, mate. You're 6'6". You should be bigger and stronger than that. And better minded to not complain about it. Do you know what? If they had given anything against 𝐒𝐂𝐑 there, it would have been an absolute crime. So stop complaining, get on with it. That's what I say. And on the 10th minute, I was kind of eating my words a little bit because Southampton do draw back level. It's Kyle Walker-Peters once again, and he had been looking lively. He drives forward, manages to get the assist for Aribo. Really hard shot for Jorgensen to be able to save. I don't blame him at all for that. Really disappointed for him that he didn't get to keep the clean sheet that I actually feel like his performance deserved. And at that point, this is why I said I was wrong multiple times during the game, actually, right? At that point, I'm looking at our defence and I'm thinking, we look unorganised. We don't look good here defensively. We look good, we look like we can attack and we look like we can do a bit like we always do. But defensively, these boys aren't reading each other all that well. But do you know what? We soon picked it up. 16 minutes in, the Saints really do shoot themselves in the foot. And it was the first time of many because Joe Lumley was trying to play out from the back all night tonight, and he was successful in doing so about 0 times, I'd say. About 0 times. They were awful playing out from the back, Southampton. Complete wrong tactics. And do you know what? When I saw how good they actually could be when they were attacking, it would very much think or make me think that what you should do is you should sit back and try and play that low block against us and then use that attacking prowess to catch us on the counter-attack. That would have been better, but clearly they wanted to bring the game to us. They did that and they were absolutely fucked from doing it. Joe Lumley gives his defender an absolute hospital pass when trying to play out from the back. It's intercepted by Madueke, put on to Nkunku, who literally has a tap-in to an open goal. And that means he grabs his 12th goal of the season. One-man team, apparently we are. We've got a bloke that doesn't even start for us that's on his 12th goal of the season. Oh, work that one out. Do you know what, right? If I'm honest, in that first 20-odd minutes, we hadn't even really played that much good attacking football. And we had the ball in the back of the net twice. Now, 23 minutes in, we really do show our attacking prowess. And it's why I time in, time out, say we are one of the best counter-attacking teams in the whole league. When a Southampton corner turns straight into a Chelsea attack, João Felix gets it on the left wing and he zips a lovely ball to Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer takes it down, he touches it, it's on his wrong foot, but he still gets the shot off, and fair play to Lumley, he gets a hand to it, he puts it on to the post. So we hit the woodwork, we then get a corner, we hit the woodwork again for the second time, and all of a sudden it looks like Chelsea could be about to run riot here. It really does. 33 minutes in. Madueke, he's back in the team. He's back amongst the goals. Great build-up play from Cole Palmer and Enzo Fernandez, who puts it onto Felix. Felix feeds Madueke, and we all know what he's going to do. Josh Aveste's got a conspiracy theory that he's got a goal bonus in his contract, and do you know what? I wouldn't even argue with it, because you know what he's going to do there. A little bit of trickery and curl it into the back of the net. Almost Saka-esque if Saka was the level of Noni Madueke. If Saka was, you know, what I would call sort of first choice right wing option for the national team, like Noni Madueke will now be going forward, then it would be Saka-esque. But obviously it's just Madueke-esque, because better player who will ultimately start for England when next given the opportunity. 3-1 to Chelsea, that is. And then 38 minutes in, the Saints captain, I believe it was the captain, Jack Stevens, right, is given his marching orders after pulling Cucurella's hair. Now, I would not have sent him off. I would have sent him to prison, right? You do not pull another man's hair, especially not the luscious locks of Marc Cucurella. I've still not forgiven that dirty little fucker Romero for when he did it a couple of seasons back, and I won't be forgiving Jack Stevens. You got to think of the consequences there, yeah? What if he was to have permanently damaged the hair of Cucurella? What if he was to have pulled out a chunk of Cucurella? The consequences that could then come from that. Cucurella could then have to change the style of his hair. Worst case scenario, he could have to shave it. You know, he could have to get cane rolls to cover over a patch of the hair that had then been taken out. So I think it was completely bang out of order. And I would say for that sort of vicious conduct, is a match ban enough? Is a match ban? I don't want to, you know, play the do-gooder here, but do we get police involved? That's what I'm thinking, you know, because that's assault, brother. That is assault, okay? So, and not the good type of assault. So, realistically, easily given his marching orders by the referee there, and I'd throw the book at him, to be completely honest. You don't touch Cucurella's hair. You really don't. The volume, the bounce, it's a thing of beauty. It really is. Talking about things of beauty, second half, we literally nearly opened the scoring within a minute or so when Palmer dinks another beauty of a ball to an unmarked João Felix at the back post. He's only got to head it in. He heads it wide. But we forgive him because we love him. Speaking of luscious locks, João Felix, we love his hair too. But he does have a little bit of a tendency to miss a sitter here and there, João Felix, doesn't he? We do let him off because of how brilliant he is. And do you know what? He had it hard tonight. He was being kicked all over the place. They couldn't control him. He had a very good game out on that left wing, by the way, and they were constantly fouling him because they just weren't as good as him. But in that moment, he could have been a little bit better. He could have headed it in. Do I give a fuck? Not really, either way. So 52 minutes in, we hit the woodwork for a third time. Enzo Fernandez once again whipping in a great corner. So good of a corner that Lumley probably could have come for it, but he doesn't come for it. And Tosin Adarabioyo not only gets the opportunity to be able to get a shot off, he has so much time, he's able to take a touch, and the shot's not even a header. He rattles the woodwork for what, the third time, nearly smashes that goalpost in half while trying to kick it in the fucking goal hole, and Lumley's absolutely rooted. He's rooted. He don't know where he is, mate. He's playing stuck in the mud there. Right, people, I just want to quickly take this opportunity to tell you about new partners of the channel, 𝐒𝐒𝐄. When you're in the YouTube industry like I am, there is a certain type of service that you could very much do with having on your side, and that is the service that stops you making blunders. And when I'm preparing for some of my videos, I use the website 𝐒𝐒𝐄 to use the player comparison matrix, and that helps me get a better understanding of comparing the players that I'm talking about. For example, a lot of you guys know that for every Chelsea game, I put out my preferred starting lineup, and I do look into the underlying numbers of the players I'm picking and the players that I'm comparing, and that's where 𝐒𝐒𝐄 comes in. They offer the best player comparison matrix on the internet. The website is so efficient and so easy that even I can use it. For example, when I'm picking from Chelsea's 30 to 40 odd wingers that we've got at the club, I can very easily jump onto 𝐒𝐒𝐄 and see how their stats compare. But you don't need to be a YouTuber to need to use 𝐒𝐒𝐄. You could use it for your bets when you're betting on first goal scorer and things like that. It could give you a better indication. Or you could just use it to look like a genius down the pub, and we all like to do that, don't we? So thank you very much to 𝐒𝐒𝐄 for not only helping me prepare for my videos, but also partnering up with the channel. So help support me by supporting the guys that support the channel in 𝐒𝐒𝐄. They are linked in the description for this video. Let's get back into it. 58 minutes in, Southampton break on us, right? Through Fernandez. Not our Enzo Fernandez, their Fernandez. Nice tan. Terrific little player, to be honest. Might even look into giving my mate Joe Shields a message. Maybe sign him up in January. Spend another little cool £100 on another little midfielder. Terrific little player, as you do. He drives up the other end with the ball, and just yards from goal, Aribo once again has a chance to blast one at Jorgensen. And what does Jorgensen do? He dives across, he keeps the shot out, and he keeps our lead at bay. Barring the goal he did concede, he was pretty much unconcedable, if that's a word, tonight. He was impregnable, okay? He was like a woman that's had the snip. He was impregnable, Jorgensen. Great performance. Madueke, within the next 15-odd minutes, has about 3 chances to score. Forces a few saves from Joe Lumley, but he's constantly looking menacing, and the Saints just could not deal with Noni Madueke tonight. And Noni Madueke, for, what did he cost us? 28 million or something? Snip. Absolute snip. He could have had 5-6 goals tonight. He could have had 3-4 assists tonight. And do you know what? Some will say, oh, you know, his conversion rate should be a little bit better. Your conversion rate should be a little bit better with the ladies, my friend. What I'm saying here, if you're criticising Madueke. Don't know where that one came from. But either way, I'm on a high, aren't I? I love it. Madueke, yeah, brilliant. Subbed off after 71 minutes, and I don't feel like he has bought off because we need an improvement in that area. I think he's bought off with one eye on that Spurs game coming up on Sunday, where he will be coming up against his former club, and you'd be very, very surprised if off the back of tonight's showing he doesn't start in that game. But when he was subbed off, he was subbed off for Jadon Sancho, and Jadon Sancho, we get onto his contribution in a minute because he is making a case time in, time out for why he should be starting. But the versatility of Jadon Sancho makes it a little bit easier because, as you're seeing now, spoke so many times about an interchangeable front line, and that's what we've got. Maybe they're not doing it during the match, but they can all play everywhere. Palmer was the fucking best player in the league last season off the right wing. Now he's a centre attacking mid. João Felix, we thought he might come in as a 9 or a centre attacking mid, and he's playing out on the left wing. And Nkunku, what position's he? Centre attacking mid, sometimes a midfielder. Oh, he starts up front for us. He never even starts, and he's got 12 games. Fuck me, we're good. Either way, 76 minutes in, Cole Palmer makes it 4-1 with a tap-in. But I've got to give the credit for this goal to Nkunku and to Enzo Fernandez, because Enzo Fernandez threads an absolute beauty of a ball through to Nkunku. Nkunku latches onto it, he goes through on goal, he gets the little cutback, and just when it looks like the Saints defender might get to it, he gets the toe on it. He toe pokes it, and Cole Palmer has a tap-in. But a beauty of a pass from Enzo Fernandez. And by the way, we spoke about Jadon Sancho, didn't he? The fella that Jamie O'Hara on TalkSport, the station who, you know, never would criticise Chelsea, never would have a narrative against Chelsea because it gets them clicks and they're desperate for it. But either way, Jamie O'Hara, he mentioned the fact that, you know, it sort of seems like Jadon Sancho's fallen back into his old ways. And I did say after that, could you explain what are his old ways? Because you seem to know a lot about him. Not so much that it stopped you from making that quote when Jadon Sancho's goals and assists to minutes on the pitch is one of the best probably in European football at the moment. You don't know that much about him that you even know what he's doing on a football pitch at the moment. But what you do know is about his old ways. Those old ways, you know. He's fallen back into them. Well, he gets a goal and it's a fucking blinder of a goal once again. And again, this one is assisted by Malo Gusto, but the assist comes from Enzo Fernandez. Great pass into Malo Gusto onto Jadon Sancho. He makes it 5-1 to Chelsea. What a performance. What a performance. Off the back of 7 changes, off the back of a shaky start to the match, to be able to really just assert that dominance, gain that control of the match is so impressive. And when we look at some takeaways from today's game, I think we got to start off by giving the man of the match. And I think there's only one option, really, for me. And you might think that I'm going to go Noni Madueke, obviously, through how good he was tonight. You might think that I might look at the likes of João Felix tonight and how good he is. Caicedo's always great. But I feel like you've got to look at the man who constantly provided opportunities for our front line, constantly passed the ball to the players in our front line. And without this man's contribution, there's no way we score 5 goals tonight. And that is obviously Joe Lumley. I thought he was terrific for Chelsea tonight. He was on the other side. He's a Southampton player, but for Chelsea, he was terrific. He really was. No, I'm joking. Oh, I'm sort of not joking, but it's Enzo Fernandez, mate. Enzo Fernandez is making me eat every single word that I had ever said about him. And before you jump the gun and say, oh, you were hating on him, I was never hating on him. I was saying that I feel like Romeo Lavia defensively gives you more. But I tell you what, ready to eat the words. Ready to eat them. Enzo needs to be starting against Spurs. If we can find a way to get the 3 in, I'd really like to do that. But fuck me, Enzo's been good, man. Enzo's been so good, hasn't he, in recent weeks? And really, really now showing us the player that we see for Argentina. The player that we did see, by the way, in his first 6 months at Chelsea. When he came in and we were having a turbulent time and it was turmoil at Stamford Bridge and everything was just fucked, Enzo Fernandez was the man raising the bar, and that was in a midfield that still had the likes of Kovacic in there. It still had the likes of Kante in there. And by the way, if you are going to get in the comment section and say, oh, you were an Enzo hater, go back on the video, check the receipts, and go back on the videos when I spoke about him. And I had always said that Enzo Fernandez could fit seamlessly into a Manchester City and into a Real Madrid team. So that shows you the level of player that I've always known he is. But I was just saying that we weren't seeing those sort of performances for Chelsea at the time. And was I wrong? I don't know if I was wrong, but does that matter? No, because right now, he is doing the fucking business for us, and he's the absolute boy. And Matty Dav's got a tattoo of him on his leg, and I thought that was premature, but my God, I might go and get the same, to be honest, because I absolutely love him. Now, Jorgensen, right, he played so well tonight. He made some, would you call it match-saving saves? He made some saves that stopped us going behind and making it a more nervy affair than it could have been, because Southampton weren't even that bad attacking-wise. Like, they were pretty good attacking-wise, but they were their own worst enemy. They were their own kryptonite. They shot themselves in the foot constantly because they came and tried to play football. And I'll tell you what, right, when they went down to 10 men, I was somewhat worried, because when Crystal Palace went down to 10 men, it became a harder game for us, because all of a sudden it's like 10 men, backs to the wall, be as resolute as we can, try and nick 𝐒𝐄 on the counter. Southampton just carried on trying to play football. And if they're going to try and play themselves out of this relegation battle, they're going to have to hope that some teams are really, really bad, man. Because I don't know. I don't know if you'll get away with that. But at the same time, when I look at that, and I look at our front line, I think our front line put in a better defensive performance tonight than our defenders did. Because our front line was so good at snipping out the danger, getting the ball from Southampton in their final third. I haven't even got the stats, but if I read the stats, they'd probably read hundreds of times we were able to nick it off them in our final third. And I just think, honestly, our attack's so good tonight. So good. João Felix got to get a bit of credit tonight, because he got stuck in. He got an assist, didn't he? But he got stuck in, constantly getting kicked, constantly being fouled. But they just couldn't contain him. And he battled hard. He showed another side of his game. Not just the silky skills and whatnot and the creativity, but he showed that willingness to get stuck right in. And do you know what? It's such a good problem to have when you're Enzo Maresca now and you're looking at that Spurs game, and you must be scratching your head. Your beautiful bald head that I absolutely love and would love to just caress every night before I go to bed, because he's got a selection problem on his hands, man. He really has. And in seasons gone by, the selection problem's been, who can we wheel onto the pitch, or who can hobble through 50 odd minutes before we have to sub them off because everyone's injured. Whereas now it's like, do I pick steak or lobster? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? We've just got so many players playing so well, but we're a one-man team, apparently. It feels good to be a Chelsea fan right now, doesn't it? Chelsea are back, ladies and gentlemen. And if we win against Spurs, TC. I'm not going to say it yet, But you know what TC stands for. Either way, people, let me know your thoughts on tonight's game. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal from Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. And Enzo Maresca's a man I love so dearly. And I said it on Josh Aveste's live stream earlier on. If we go and win the league, I'll have Enzo Maresca tattooed on me somewhere. Definitely. I will do it. Just for Enzo, and just for us, and just for you lot, the hardcore. Thank you very much for sticking around to the end of another video. And by the way, I've got to take this opportunity to tell you, tomorrow, coming up on the Joey and Josh podcast, is an absolute banger of a video. It's a nostalgia video. It's about growing up in the early 2000s, and we talk about everything: school, the crazies, Pokemon, going to high school, the crazies, just do it bags, all of that shit, everything that was in there, and loads of our own little funny stories and personal experiences and whatnot. And that's going to drop off the Joey and Josh channel tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. So make sure you're there. It's linked in the description to this video. If you haven't already, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I love you lot very much, by the way. And tomorrow I'm in the studio with Josh, and we are going to do our Spurs preview. We win that, and we're winning the whole fucking thing. I will see you all in the next one.